Hello, welcome back to FromSoftServe. We're once again in Bloodborne on PC. And I'm in Bergenworth, or Burger Town, as it's officially referred to by me and no one else. But I had stumbled upon something that I've obviously experienced with other Souls games, but so I was not terribly surprised to see that's how it functions in Bloodborne as well, where the player character and the enemies are lit separately from the rest of the environment. So you'll commonly get this case where the player is lit abnormally. It will have the player character will have hero lighting, which is totally understandable. Like I get why they would do that, but it's one where I've been testing disabling that, and I wanted to show you how. And so if we take a screenshot here and keep it in your mind how the player looks, and then let's quit out. Let's do that. Let's go to my map editor, which you'll see Willem, Master Willem here. We have Burger Town loaded, and a quick sort of rundown is that what I'm talking about with how they light things differently is if you select any of these map pieces, you're going to notice that down here it says under G param, it'll have G param config and light set, fog param, light scattering. And so all the other Souls games do this too, where basically they can control, or FromSoft controls how things display in game, because they can change, okay, let's have this on the light ID of 10 versus this one being on 0. And so they can kind of modulate how things look. And most of the time they use 0 in the DS2 and beyond, or Bloodborne and beyond, because even Elden Ring uses the G param setup, in Armored Core 6. And so generally 0 is the one that they set for, because it's per map. They're definitely customized per map and different, and they handle everything from the light direction to ambient occlusion to motion blur to anamorphic lens to distortion to literally everything is controlled in that G param. But if we want to remove hero lighting that's on the player, like for interior spaces specifically, that is handled through the collisions, which that's what this blue stuff is. That's actually what the player character is walking on and is Havoc physics based. And so that's why there's a blue wall here, so you don't go through the barrier. And basically it's just very simplified geometry that is not visible in game, but that's what the player actually walks on. So that's what you'll notice with these stairs. It's not actually the real stair. What you're stepping on is this little plane here. But anyway, you'll notice with the collision, let's see if we can find another collision out here. Yeah, so out here you'll see light set of 10. And that, if the player character is over here, that they're going to be lit differently than the environment, which is lit by 0. So 0 and 10, those will have a different appearance. Yeah, and then they light the grass here with 50. We're going to test that out as well, because sometimes the grass will stand out abnormally in DS3 and Bloodborne, and that's because they specifically set it to a different G param than what the environment is, when realistically, I've had good luck in just changing it to what everything else is, and then it just blends in a lot better. But what we're going to do here, it looks like I already did. Okay, so I already switched it to 0 for this collision. And you can see the highlighting of, like with the orange, that tells you where this collision is. And so it's the walls, it's the floor around here, and I think it stops, yeah, so the next collision is up here. So let's switch this one. Let's switch Burger Town. And let's go into our files. And I already have it set up here. The MSB files are what we're editing. And so I have my Dynamic Shadows mod, which is what I'm using to do the changes. And I believe, yeah. So basically there's two MSB files. There's M32000000 and then 01. And so you do have to do both of them. And so, because they actually come up as like separate files. I'm not entirely sure like why. But anyway, Let's copy our changes, which you'll notice it's M32, which if you look over here on our little map listing, Burgertown, sorry, is M32. So that's how you can tell the naming scheme. And so let's copy that over. We're going to try it in a different area. And we still have Bloodborne running. Ah, okay. I forgot it tries to play that video if you're there for too long. That's fine. That is totally fine. We're going to launch it again. Fingers crossed. Stick with me. But then again, you guys are used to this kind of video. We're just goofing. We're goofing around with stuff here. Okay, so we loaded the new MSBs that we edited that handle what collisions have which lighting, and let's see if we can notice the player looking different. Yes, we can. So basically, and I'll do a split screen, the thumbnail will be one of the comparisons I've done. So basically, you just notice that the player is darker and no longer has that abnormal lighting, but still looks pretty normal in here. Let's go upstairs where there's that other collision that has not been modified yet. And let's see how it looks. And because it should transition over. Yeah. So this is a good instance where you can see the player is being lit on their right or us looking at them on their left. And you're just like, well, okay, which is fine. Like, it's not a big deal. This is a personal preference thing, quite honestly. But for me, it's always been something that's bugged me in Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. Like, they all kind of have this, I wouldn't say problem, as it obviously makes sense why they do it, right? It's not unusual that they'd want to emphasize the character. But, you know, I kind of like it to blend in more. So let's click on the collision here, which we can see, I believe, goes upstairs and handles the whole upstairs. And so you'll see it's set to 10. We change that to 0, which is what everything else is set to. We go back to our map studio. We do our little copying of the M3200, make our 01 file, and thus do that. Okay, copy our new MSB files. Of course, I do plan to make this like its own separate kind of, in addition to the shadow mod, dynamic shadow mod, you could have this where it's more realistic, if people want. And there may not be a lot of people who like it, but I think it honestly looks more accurate. And then it kind of emphasizes the fact that we already removed the player lantern, like the actual light that comes off the player by default. We already removed that. At least I have a mod that does that. And so let's launch Bloodborne again. Oh yeah, while I'm here, the other thing I'll show you is interesting. It's a similar lighting trick, I guess you could say. Oh, I think this is actually an area where I need to turn on backface rendering. Yeah, you can see there's shadows actually being cast onto my character. But yeah, once again, you can see now the character looks more correctly lit. Although, let me show you something. Okay, let me show you something. It's interesting. Okay, so we're up here, and you'll notice there's shadows that are hitting my character, which obviously shouldn't happen indoors, right? I turned on shadow casting for pretty much the entire game, but the meshes were not set up for that. And so let's turn off our collisions for a second. So here's the actual room that we're in, and let's find out what map piece it is. So it looks like it's model name 1600. So let's go into our folder here, our Bloodborne folder, because what we need to do is disable the back faces from being cold. And I'll show you what that is. So here's the actual mesh that we're looking at, and you can see how we're looking straight through it, because on the back end, it's culling that backside to save performance very slightly. But what happens is shadows are able to travel through that. So, and that's why you see like this orange box when I select it. So what we do is we find 1600, and we go to map, and we need to find M32, because that will be Burgertown. So here's M32 00000, and here's where they store the model files. So we surf down, and you'll notice the last 4 numbers, or 5 numbers, or 6 numbers, those are your model numbers. So we need to go to 1600. Okay, so what we need to do is then witchy-bnd crack open that model file. And then we're going to open it in the older style of Fiverr Editor, because I found that to be more useful for backface culling. So we open that up, and so then we are presented with the actual model itself. We go to mesh, and you'll notice here, these are all the mesh indicators for the different parts of the mesh. And we hit check, and you'll see cull backface is true. Cull backface is true. You also see it'll select back here. This will show you what you're selecting. So we have cull backface is true. And basically we want to turn off and turn that to false, so it does not cull the backfaces. So this one is already set to cull the back, or not cull the backfaces. But we want to do this quicker. So what we do is we actually, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let me hit that again. So the one that says false, we will actually turn that to culling. And it might not make sense right now. So true, true, true. Oh, really? True. Okay. And then we hit this button, TBF all. And what it will do is it'll go through and flip all of them. And so that's why we want to switch the ones that say false to true. So then we can switch all the true ones over to false at once. And so we hit check, and you'll see it now says cull backface is false. So we hit modify. There you go. It's now applied that. We just have to witchy-bnd that back into a DCX file, so the game will use it. And now we're going to open up. Let's open up Bloodborne again, and let's see if my character has any sort of shadows happening. And that should fix it. I've been doing that in Central Yarnum, but basically I have to just keep updating these for the dynamic shadow mod, so people can just apply it to their game. It's just light leak because they were not meant to be shadow casting originally. Oh, look at that! It fixed it, and so now we do not have shadows hitting us. But also, you'll notice with the light change that the character naturally blends into the environment, and it no longer has that really weird like hero lighting. And I would imagine a lot of people will watch this video and be like, "Dude, I didn't even notice that." And it's like, yeah, that's standard. Like it's something that's so common. Now another thing that FromSoft does, dude, you scared the absolute balls off of me. Oh my God. So commonly, FromSoft will light their chests or interactable items differently to emphasize them to the player. And I will say this chest actually blends in pretty well already. I think we need to find a chest that doesn't blend in that well, because that one honestly is that's pretty decent. Is that going to kill me? It's the fall that's going to kill you. Nope, not this time. Oh, I forgot. I don't even need to heal. I'm invincible, essentially. Yeah, so when we step out here, we get the hero lighting returned because this collision has not been modified. Although we're in the exterior, so like it's totally fine. So let's see. Now that chest blends in pretty well too. Let's go downstairs. We'll go to a different area in the game, probably, because there's some chests that stand out a lot in this game. No, that honestly looks pretty good. Okay, let's go to the lamp, because I think it's mostly interiors in this game that really have that hero lighting problem. Okay, let's go to the lamp. The lamp. Nope, wrong way. Yeah, without the special effect that's on the lamp, I totally miss it. So, nope. Oh, we have the little guys on it. Okay, let's go to the Hunter's Dream. I'm thinking Cathedral Ward might be a good place to go to. I also turned off the hero lighting here. I can show images after we do our little change here. But yeah, you'll notice the character fits into the environment. It's very cool. It's something you might not be able to not notice now. But yeah, it's very commonly done. So let's go to Cathedral Ward, that main little area that you start in, and let's see how the player looks. Fingers crossed. Pretty good load times, honestly. I say that while this takes longer. Well, fuck me, okay? Shit. Okay, it's gonna be a little low frame rate for a second. It's loading some shit. Okay, it's a little bit better. Yeah, the other thing I want to fix, obviously, is how this light that's coming in from apparently the window here, of course, casts no shadows. That's always bugged me. So I'm like, shit. I gotta place like a spotlight. Yeah, let's see a good spot. A good thing to usually check is like an interior dark spot where you're like, well, okay, like that, the player should not be lit nearly as much. Oh, does it change? It does. Oh, this actually handles it pretty well. So you'll notice when I walk out here, it switches the G param that's used, and I get that sort of light hitting me. Okay, Cathedral Ward might already handle it really well. Oh, not in here though. So look what's going on in here. My character's getting light from, I mean, I guess you could assume it was the windows there, but realistically, you're just getting hit from light all over the place. And it's not really perspective based. Yeah, so let's check it right here. Okay, let's hit... I'm assuming some people are going to watch this and find it a fairly pedantic sort of exercise. And I think that's fair. I was going to say I'm a pedant. I think that's the correct word for that, but it's too close to you know, pedo. So don't like that. Not a fan. Not going to call myself that. All right, so let's load up Cathedral Ward. Let's see. I'm interested to see in the main area. They seem to be using, I wouldn't say correct, but like it's very not as noticeable. Very curious by that. Is that? No, okay. Yeah, I do tend to get lost in when I load up a map like this, because I'm like, oh shit, where the fuck am I? Oh, okay. I think we're gonna go back this way. Yes, yes. And it's doubly hard because of all these fake meshes, like this one that's blocking a doorway. It's a whole thing. Okay, so now we're inside. Let's turn on our filters. Now we have our collision. Now where does this collision start? Man, okay, so one thing you can do with these fake meshes that are sort of, they're usually going to start with the number 5. Those are your fake, like, distant ones. You can hide them using the little visibility toggle here. Okay. Oh, wow, that collision's way too high. What the fuck is going on there? So in here, what are they doing on the inside? Oh, not that collision. They are using 10. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, interesting. Well, let's switch this over. Okay, so inside this room, they're using the light set of 15. That's new. Let's change it over to 10 so it matches the room that you just came from. That would actually be a really nice cohesion to the visuals. Okay, so let's do that. Let's save our changes. Let's go here, back to Map Studio for the Bloodborne files. And the most recent thing we changed is M2400 for Cathedral Ward. M2401 is Central Yarnum. So, okay, M24... Oh. Yes, let's do this. So M24001. That's what we need to change. Yes, so let's copy that and make that our 01. Okay. And then date modified. Those are the ones we're going to copy. Presto changeo. Boom. Profit. Okay, so let's launch back into Bloodborne. And now let's see how our player looks different. Because now we're matching the interior lighting of the other room. Because there was quite a shift there. Yeah, I'm assuming they did it very intentionally, but yeah, I don't know. I found it a bit too obvious. Okay, frame rate's gonna suck ass for a second. Yeah, now we get a seamless lighting transition. Excellent. Because actually, I'm pretty happy with how this looks on the inside without having to switch this over to like the lighting of 0, the light ID of 0. So this, and now you walk in here, and yeah, it now matches, and you're not getting hit by a big blast of light on the left side of your character. Although, there is clearly, they baked in some illumination in here, and maybe that's why it was getting brighter. Or why the character lighting was set to 15. Yeah, it's possible. Because I don't have the particle effects turned on. Interesting. Okay. Ooh. Okay, performance is rough. Performance is having a bit of an issue. Let's go back this way. Yeah, this is kind of your perfect instance here. So it's definitely on a case-by-case basis. I'll have to make sure. So in this little walkway from Papa Guac's arena up here to Cathedral Ward, you'll notice I'm in this enclosed space, and I'm just getting blasted by, not really blasted, but on the left side of my player character. So let's swap that. I think you understand what I'm saying. That other example, I think I might go back to 15 on that one, because I think it does overall match up a little bit better, even if it's not entirely accurate. I think it's better than what 10 looks like. So let's, because I believe it's actually part of the Central Yarnum map. Yeah, that's the fake mesh. Yes. Okay, so let's load up Central Yarnum. And hopefully it loads in the same spot. It did. Look at that. Oh, it's got a fake mesh as well. Oof. Okay. General filters. Oh, what the fuck? Huh. Well, okay. It's one of those cases where the collision... Oh, I think the collision is actually here? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is. It's just, it shows up in the map editor in a pretty strange way. Oh. Yeah, light set of 10. Let's see if this one does it, actually. So let's set it to 0. And while we're at it, we'll set the room to 0 as well, because there's not really any light going in that room. Alright. So let's do that. We have our 2401 that we have modified. We, of course, have to get rid of our 1 and 11, annoyingly. Yeah, Central Yarnum actually has 3 separate ones. So I have to double copy to make a duplicate and then go 01. I think it's the 01 that actually makes the changes, but I believe they're used for different game states based upon what's happened in the game world. So I just make sure to modify all of them. Date modified, 2401. Yeah, this video is already longer than I thought it was going to be. I end up just goofing around and playing around with stuff, and I go, shit. Okay, so let's load it up again. But I also know that my viewers, my homies, you guys, really like when I pull up the map editor. For anyone that's new, that's always been the most popular thing, is when I pull up the map editor, they're like, oh shit, he's editing. Okay, let's see if our player is now lit more accurately. and doesn't bomb the game. Hey, look at that. Now we are in an enclosed space and we are not receiving hero lighting. It's a small change, and in the grand scheme, okay, so here's a good example. Here's a great example. Check out how these little fucking globe things stand out like a sore thumb, right? So FromSoft definitely has an issue with this sometimes, where they'll have objects just completely lit differently than the environment. So look at this chest, how it stands out. Now this one is obviously the one for blood gems, right? So they do want to make it obvious enough that players grab it. I've always felt it was a bit heavy-handed, but I understand the game doesn't do a lot of hand-holding to begin with. I think the chairs are going to be part of this too. They stand out a little bit. And so let's try something out. Let's fix that. I was meaning to get back to that with Burger Town, but this is a better example. So let's load into the room and click on this. You'll notice it's on light ID 61. Oh, yeah. And the table is too. Get out. Oh, man, we're so going to change this. We're so going to change this to 0. It's going to make the room blend in a lot better, I promise you. Let me block out this fucking map piece. Oh, my God. It's a bloody megalodon. Sorry, I've been watching too much Andy Cortez, and he does that impression way better than I do. It's a bloody megalodon. Yeah, they even have these books set to 61. Oh my God. Check this out. Check this shit out. We are so going to make them blend in. I get too excited with this. Don't worry about it. I understand I get too excited about it. But for me, it's a lot of fun. Okay, so let's set it to 0. Did I miss some books? Oh, they put books up there? What the fuck? Well, players can't get up there. That's crazy. Okay, 0, 0, 0. Oh, even the bookcases? No way. Oh, jabronis. Oh, shit. Okay, can't select that one. Yeah, you can only select like objects. Only objects or only map pieces for multi-select, which does make sense. Okay, let's get that. Let's change these books to 0. And the chest, you'll also notice, is set to 61. That's going to stand out. Ooh, even the lamp is. I notice I'm getting way too excited. But I don't care. Oh, it's going to make a big difference. Even the ladder is. Oh my God. Unforgivable. FromSoft. Unforgivable. Oh, I didn't do that table? Really? Okay. Interesting. Oh, I did that one. Did I do this chair? Aha, I did. Okay, I'm probably going to miss one thing, but that's fine. Okay, so now I've switched all of... Hey, I changed this fucking chest. What are you talking? Oh, are there two chests like on top of each other? No. Okay. That was weird. Is there another lamp in here? Oh, shit, that's set to 61. Okay, hold on. We're almost there. Yeah, there's a lamp. Okay. So let's save that. Back to Map Studio for the project. And then we delete that, delete that. So now you know what my life is. It's normally just goofing around, figuring shit out in like the dumbest way possible. Well, I don't know about the dumbest way. Dumb adjacent. It's stuff that like sounds dumb on paper, but can actually work sometimes. Okay, so now we have our 3 central Yarnum files. And let's copy them into our game. Relaunch. And let's see. So this actually is applicable to Dark Souls 3, which suffers from this very same problem. And I need to do that for Dark Souls 3 at some point, because there's so many interior objects that are set to sometimes just really wonky, and they stand out, and they were actually an error. Here, it's like intentional. They chose 61 as the light ID. But I think it might look nicer when I set them all to 0. Okay, well, not as big of a difference as I thought. To be fair, they still stand out. I think they just stand out less. Like overall, it got darker, but yeah, they're still kind of standing out. That's weird. All right, well maybe it's something else. Maybe it's in the G param. I don't know. But yeah, now you can see. Can I hit that? Hell yeah, I can. Well, the books look pretty good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with these. I'll have to look into that. Yeah, the ladder fits in a lot better now. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, well. Ooh. Oh, what's up, girl? How's it going? Oh, you're not looking too good. Oh, yeah, so here's another case where we're once again getting hero lighting. It's a whole thing. I don't need to do it again. I have proven my point, or proven why I prefer it. Not that it's necessarily better, but it's definitely the thing that I prefer. For less hero lighting. Oh yeah, we're in Papa Guac's arena. I was confused at where we were at for a second. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, and if you like me altering and removing hero lighting in some cases, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Have you played Bloodborne? Do you plan to play Bloodborne? Also, I should mention that after yesterday's video, which was unbelievable response to, as per usual lately, you guys are fucking crazy. Yeah, it's even more stable now. Like the crashes I was getting in that video, now I'm not getting in the newer builds. So like, yeah, progress is unbelievable. I'm also getting better performance in this one. So I've been able to use the 60 FPS patch for this whole video. It's variable. It's not always 60 and there's stutters and whatnot. And it's at 1080p. So I hadn't been able to really successfully do that beforehand. So yeah, like progress is crazy. It's so good. Okay, yeah, these objects are looking kind of weird. Anywho, thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next video.